Alright guys, listen, this developer blog is 1 hour 30. There is not going to be 1 hour 30 of interesting content, so I'm going to go and watch it all. I'm going to go and speak and try and pick out the main important points, and you will be watching this video on YouTube and it'll be condensed to the most important questions. I'd like to just say one comment, one like, everyone knows the rule. That's right, FaZe Ugly God has actually subscribed to the channel, 1.1 million Twitter followers, and he put out a video of his OG thoughts on the Gears of War 1 scene. So that's basically, I think, the most famous person that's ever followed me, so I just had to give a shout out to that. And also I wanted to give a important shout out to every single person that has been commenting, liking, supporting, because without you, these videos wouldn't exist, couldn't continue to exist, so thank you very much. I was going to go one by one through all of the people that have helped support the content goal, but I wasn't sure if you wanted your usernames revealed, so I just thought I'd withhold that information and just say a personal thank you to all of the people supporting this channel. I tried to once again remain like an adult and move on past the drama, so a couple days ago I released the drama video, which I've since made private. It got good feedback, got 200 plus likes, good comments, but I just thought I don't want that on my channel. I don't want to be associated with it, so I made it private. So let's try and get the most recent video, which is 10 positive things about Gears 5, which I did work really hard on. Let's try and get that more views than a private drama video, because we don't want drama on the channel. We don't want it. It's gone, it's done. We don't want it on the channel. Positive things about Gears of War, for example, you know, the smoke grenade I think has been a brilliant change to the franchise. It allows you to cover off certain viewing areas and stuff like that, and it's just me being a little bit more positive about Gears 5, because I don't want to be like the news. I don't want to always be negative, you know. I don't want to always just be here just to be a soul-crushing negative force. So sometimes I will have some positive things to say, and I'm trying to, you know, do good. So if you're supporting that, thank you very much.
So bearing with us a little bit.
Okay, first thing to note, first comment going in, one comment, one like, everyone knows the rules. First comment. Where is he? Where's my boy Ryan? Where's Ryan? Because you know, if Ryan's not on the show, we ain't getting no clear answers. I might go Bravo. I think I'm going Bravo 6 Dark, mate, because this could be a dark episode.
Feed to our TV.
You know, the people that stream on a regular basis, Gears 1, but like HD gaming was so freaking cool. Every time like a new game came out, was like, oh my god, this is like, I remember like the first Modern Warfare, how like everyone was like, holy shit. Obviously this.
That was like my reaction when I played Gears 5. There was a lot of oh my gods and a lot of holy shits, and it was for a different reason, but let's move on.
I know that the intention was always to have the rank reset go in conjunction with the title update, and as we were going through and looking at what we needed to get the rank reset done, very, very late in the process, there was something that came up that required a little bit more of investigation, that we didn't want to roll out something and then have it not be the way that we intended it.
The way the rank resets that were meant to come out haven't come out yet. Now, this for me, I did tweet about this earlier on. This for me is a very key moment in Gears 5 history, and for me, it's make or break. The reason I say this is if they release a ranking system, they then delay it, and it finally comes out on Wednesday, and that very first match you play, you get MVP and you lose points. That means every single person that's played Gears up until today, all their ranks have been meaningless, they've all been wiped, and it's all been for a system that doesn't work. So I 100% understand why they're taking more time to make sure it's correct, because the worst thing they can do right now is wipe everybody's rank, and then if it's still broken, the amount of backlash these guys are going to get is going to be, it's going to be Mach 2. That's how heavy it's going to be, man. And yeah, I'm slightly concerned because I just don't think they've got the ranking system working. I really don't.
That we have this.
Alright, again, just a little bit of background information because I've done these a lot. I don't know what this show is going to be. I asked a question, it did get answered about 40 minutes after the question was posted, and it got completely misinterpreted. And typically, Dana and Octus really seemingly only pick out like content-based questions, and there's no real theory and no real interesting one, so I'm not sure how long this video is going to be.
Delay is something that is being looked at. We talked about that with Ryan when he was on the stream last week. He may actually pop by as a guest today. We'll see. He's got some meetings. So that one is, they are aware of it. It is on the list, but it's not something they put a ton of work into it yet, so I can't give you anything like that. The talk, and then in terms of the inverse Omen, there are intentions, there are plans to give a slider.
If he went onto the YouTube channel GGZII and he went into the comments and he actually saw, hey, look at all this stuff, he would actually see that timestamped here at the 32-minute mark, we discuss the classic Omen. Get subscribed, stay up to date. 1 comment, 1 like, everyone knows the rules.
If you feel like it's blocking your view or whatever it is, we can turn it down. No timing on that. We will update when we get that. Thought the re-ups were going to be fixed in TU2. Still can't see them in ranked lobbies. Any update on that?
That's not fixed, that's an ad, and it's something we're looking at doing.
I watch these podcasts, and when I try to give my take, I always end up having the same thought. Can we fix ranked re-ups? And he's like, well, it's not a fix because it never was in the game. It's actually an addition. And I'm like, well, come on, you know, it doesn't matter whether it's a fix, an addition, a bug removal or whatever. You know what the person's asking. Just say, man, yep, we're working, and I'm sick of hearing we're working on it. Is that just me? Maybe it's because I've listened to a lot of these, and yeah, they probably are working on it, but when it's kind of like the boy that cried wolf, when every single point has been worked on, I start to think, yeah, are they actually working on all of this, or are they just saying we're working on it?
When are we going to get some campaign answers? So I played campaign with my son. I told you this already. We went through. He never played Gears before. This was his first one.
I'm just gonna have to say that I think we're gonna have to get some sort of social services in here. The first Gears this poor boy ever played was Gears 5. I don't think I can stand for that. Is that abuse? Or is that allowed? Get him back on Gears 1. Get him reliving the trilogy. This campaign is dire. We're skipping the conversation about campaign spoiler alerts. Skip.
Before we move to Phase 2, we want to make sure that we've got everything dialed down for Phase 1 perfect. And the team learned a few things. They're adjusting those now, and then hope to deploy Phase 2 fix very, very soon. So that should probably be coming next week as well. So next week's going to be a big one.
Yeah.
In terms of updates to the game. We got the rank reset and the ongoing refinements of the...
I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, it says they're refining the rank system and the pings and stuff, but they're doing Phase 1, 2, and 3, and they're working on Phase 1, 2, and 3, but we have no idea what Phase 1, 2, and 3 are, so... I don't know what that means, really.
Combine cover.
You say soon, but when do you guys get to talk about new characters, Operation 2 content? It's November right now. Generate some hype, guys. I know you want to. If Ryan was here right now, he'd let something spill. Agent Vet. We will... I'm hoping to have information soon. When we're going to talk about it. There's a couple of things where we have to kind of go and get everybody aligned. Obviously, with things like this, there's a lot of stakeholders, not on the dev side, but more on like the marketing and the community.
TU2/title update 2/patch 9.1.7.3.1.2/update/hotfix/server, whatever server, whatever update, whatever time we're at. There's no information on the Tour of Duty 2. There's no hype yet. So it don't matter what stage you're in, phase. But if I'm limboing under a laser, I can't get any information out of them. There's the hands are tied behind marketing. I hope it's good because goddamn, this game needs some frigging content, man. No, this is just a personal thing that I see a lot in these dev streams. Is people asking for more black steel skins? Can we just stop? Please, can we just stop asking for black steel and chrome skins and all this? I don't care about skins. Skins might be nice for you if you're playing, but for the community and the people that aren't like actually enjoying the game, there needs to be a lot of fixes and a lot of stuff that needs to be put back in the franchise. And all this whole shit about put some black steel skins in the game, it's not going to do anything. Like, it's just annoying. Like, that's just a personal thing. Like, there are so many things that this game needs, and I'm gonna do a long video. Again, I'm gonna bring. I can feel like it's bubbling. I can feel another like 1 hour special coming on. But like Black Steel Skins asking people, what choice did you make in the campaign, or blah blah, can we get some master skins after the I don't care. Like, it's all irrelevant. Like, the core gameplay is what is going to keep the game alive. They could make the best skin that's ever seen. It ain't going to bring players back. Like,
The worst job of all time.
one thing that maybe viewers don't appreciate when I play these videos and do some feedback is one of the most torturous things about this whole piece of content is I have to watch TC Octus play Gears of War for an hour and a half.
A lot of what we've learned from this tour, and it is impacting how we're setting up the next tour. I think we talked about this last week, where the tour was always viewed as something that was going to take roughly a season for people to complete various ways. And a lot of people, a lot of people that were finished the rank faster than we thought. You guys played the heck out of it. So we're looking at it, and we don't want to make it unnecessarily grindy, but we want to make sure that it feels appropriate in terms of the rewards you're getting as you're moving along, as you're progressing, as in terms of the challenges you have to do to kind of accomplish those rewards.
So this is just a personal thing. There's a lot of comments every single time there's a dev stream of, yo, I've finished the tour, can we do things with our leftover stars, and what can I do now that I've finished the tour? And it seems like they're going, oh, you, like, it seems to be quite a common response that they say, oh, you finished the tour, there's a lot of people that finished the tour this fast, we're going to be adjusting it. I really hope the next Tour of Duty isn't more grindy, because I've played a lot of this game, and I've played multiplayer mainly, and I'm not even close, like, to halfway of been done through the tour. If you sit down and absolutely grind, yeah, you can get it done, but that to me isn't what Gears is about, and I really hope the next Tour of Duty isn't incredibly grindy. The reason is, I did pay for this game. This is a paid game. People do buy this game off the shops, and I don't feel like when they buy the game off the shops, they should then be told, you need to do 3 months grinding to get the content. Maybe if the game was free, then yeah, 3 months grinding for some content, it's still a bummer, but maybe it makes sense. But this is a retail game, and I really hope they're not up in the grind level.
New way.
Yeah.
And we haven't got there yet. Like, Tour 1 has not got there, and we know that. But hopefully Tour 2 will be there or be close, and then Tour 3 will be like right there, and then Tour 4 will like exceed, or maybe even Tour 3 will. But that's just the growth journey we're on, about learning about what you want out of the system, what you do and don't like.
And it's really, and that's like, we're here.
So the dev just basically said Tour of Duty 1 was a test. Tour of Duty 2 might be improved. Tour of Duty 3 will probably be a lot improved, and probably Tour of Duty 4 they'll nail it. Mate, I don't want to be the Grim Reaper. You know that meme where the Grim Reaper's knocking on the door taking lives? I don't want to be that guy, but ain't nobody staying around for Tour of Duty 4 if it's broken, mate. And it's awful and it's grindy. Like, forget that. This Tour of Duty and this December Christmas period is like, you've got to nail it right now.
One of the things we're going to look at is if we can add a delay in when you can melee after shooting, but that is not part of this change. But we'll have full details on it. I've already talked to Jamie, our kind of like our lead gameplay designer, and he's given me a great write-up on it. So we'll have more on that in What's Up. And then hopefully we'll have a date to share for you then. But tentatively it's Tuesday, but it's a little early to fully commit.
I'm pleased they're responding to the melee question. I'm pleased to say that it sounds like something on Monday and Tuesday is going to happen. I'm not happy, obviously, that it sounds like, well, it doesn't sound like it is. It says basically there's no way to tune the fact that you can melee after shooting. It's still going to be a massive problem, because this is what's going to happen. Currently, 2 people start a shotgun fight. You might have a shotgun fight, one might win, one might lose. The next time, the other guy melees. So then the next time you go into a fight, you think, right, I've shot now. It's quicker for me to melee than it is to wait for the cadence of the gun and then shoot again. And he meleeed me last time, so I'm probably going to have to melee this guy this time. And it becomes this whole boxing ring of who can melee first. And if they've tuned down the whole sort of conal lock-on that it has, and you need to be more accurate. Unfortunately, that's not going to make too much of a difference, I don't think, because pretty much when you're meleeing, you're in their face, so you shoot and then you melee, and you don't really need to aim it because you're just looking at the character and you're meleeing. So if there's no delay, I still feel like it's going to be a huge problem.
That slightly, just because I know people are going to get... How many characters are locked away inside the game? Smiley face, careful on how you answer this. So this was related to, I think, some of the questions that I got previously, that people were a little like, why are you avoiding things? There are no characters locked.
Why does he keep doing this voice of like this like mocking voice? Now maybe he's just doing it just to lighten the mood, but it just comes across as like that voice is like... It comes across as that, why are you avoiding this? He's like doing some like small, like what I would consider small bitchy voice, and it's like the guy isn't bitchy and he's literally asking, why are you creating, or not even creating, why are you locking characters that have already been created in the game? Like, why are we not just getting them? And again, he does like the mocking voice, not trying to start anything. I don't even care about the little voice. To me, it doesn't bother me, but I know there will be people out there that that are sick of like that sort of tone that he keeps taking.
Right now, there may be a skin inside of the game by virtue of them being in campaign or something along those lines, but there is the characters that are inside of the game, or the characters that we had, are the characters that are currently available to play. We don't have any. I wish I could come to you and say, oh my God, there's Dom, or like just pick random characters.
Yeah.
You know, we recognize there's a lot of characters that you guys want to play as, so we don't, and if we had them...
Do I believe them? I don't have any information inside how to build a game. The only experience I've got is messing about with the Gears 1 Unreal Engine. I just feel like, hand on heart, if you had a team and you sat them down and you said, listen, take Baird's model from inside the game, or take, you know, Cole's model from inside the game and put it in multiplayer, and you'll get paid £1 million, I guarantee Coltrane will be in the game by the end of the day. Now, maybe they can't do it because it needs to be certified from Microsoft's end or whatever, but you know what I mean. I'm pretty sure there are characters in the game that are being held back. Now, I'm not trying to say that Dane is lying. I'm just saying that's how it comes across. That's how it comes across to me as a fan. I feel like there's no way all of these characters that have been in the franchise for so long are so incredibly difficult to put in the game that it's just not feasible and it can't be done. I just feel like definitely it can be done, and they're in there.
Your feedback.
Yeah, no, we've got that. Ziggy Buckets asked, are you guys planning on putting better cosmetics through the supply/tier of duty? It feels unbalanced where the store has the majority of good cosmetic items.
Just before he answers this, I like this question because that's one of the main complaints you'll notice. When I do my What's Up review, I always look to the free supply content drops, and it's always like a relaxed gun, relaxed iron, and a couple of crappy banners. It feels like there's no reason to play for supply drops because they're awful. So I think it is right that the absolute best content is in the shop, and the absolute dregs and the worst of the bottom of the barrel content is given out in supply drops. So
feedback. We've heard that sentiment from people, and I can certainly say that there's a lot of really great stuff that you guys are going to like what you can earn inside of the tour.
Yeah, I think Tour 2 takes a lot of that feedback in. You guys will be the judges on how you feel about it, and we'll be listening.
So they're talking about the Tour of Duty, but that guy didn't ask about the Tour of Duty. That guy's saying that when you sign in, you get your weekly free supply. It feels really mediocre. They're saying that the best stuff is going to be changed and it's going to be in this Tour of Duty 2 system, which they're really hyping up. So my God, I've got expectations for this because they're really hyping this up. But that's not what he's asking. He's not asking, are we going to get better stuff in the Tour of Duty? He's saying the daily and weekly supply drops are awful and all the good stuff's in the store. But they just basically didn't mention the supply drop there. They just said, oh, it's going to be better in the Tour. So I don't want more relaxed skins. I want better items coming from the supply drops, because that's the reward for... That's basically like when League of Legends, you sign in and you get key fragments for being an honourable player, which is a whole other thing I could talk about. You know, they could incentivize people being nice and not quitting the game by getting bonus supply or whatever, but that doesn't seem to be the case. What seems to be the case is you just get awful stuff in the supply. And that doesn't seem to be changed based off that answer. But you will notice the two developers here, whenever they play, they always moan. This has nothing to do with content or anything. They'll always say that, wow, it's really hard to play Gears with audio without audio. And that is in of itself kind of a key point that I think they're missing. Gears of War 1, you could play with no audio and still do pretty well, because when somebody shot you in the back, you always had a chance to turn around and react and outplay. Now the damage is so front-loaded and instant that if you get caught not checking your back and you can't hear him coming, you're just dead. And that's just a complete side point, but that goes to show, like, it is real. I found it as well. It's really hard to play Gears of War without super high audio, and that's never what the game was about. It was never about ducking behind a corner and sound whoring footsteps or listening to somebody sprint up behind you. It was always like the guy would sprint up and then you'd hear the heavy breathing, maybe like just as he was about to shoot. He'd then pull the trigger and he'd have time to react. Or like if he started lancering you, you'd be like, bro, what are you doing? Like... Whereas now it's like you really do need to listen. So side point, but thought I'd mention that.
Okay, this is a good question. Why can't we buy esport team skins with Iron? The reason why is the esport team skins a portion of the revenues actually goes back to the org. So if you're buying a Rise skin or an Energy skin or a Ghost skin, we have an agreement with those orgs to whereby orgs and the players make money off of the skins that you sell. So if you like a particular team, oh, hit a shot.
Oh my god.
Oh!
Yes, community has been great.
This is like a different topic, but I'm pretty sure CSGO have a sticker for every organization. And at least in Dota, and I'm not sure about CSGO, but at least in Dota, all of the funds go to the team because it's like a thank you for saying... thanks for keeping the esport alive. You know, if you're a popular team, you get all of the revenue from your sticker. Can Gears not do that? Like, organizations in the scene must be struggling for cash. It's not a very big scene. People, I imagine, don't have big salaries. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But I feel like every team that has qualified, or at least heavily featured, should have their own skin. But yeah, there are some teams that aren't represented. Now, I personally don't care about esports, but I know some people do. And if you are a fan of that team, or maybe your favourite player is on that team and you can't buy their skin and they deserve to be up there, that's a little bit rubbish.
Will you guys make Tour of Duty ranks purchasable so that players don't miss out on skins and characters? That's something that we could talk about. It's not currently in the plan, but I mean, I guess we could look at that. I mean, I think the tour was always meant to be an earnable option rather than...
You can't look at that. No way are they even thinking about looking at that. If they made Tour of Duty ranks purchasable, I would, on a moral standpoint, never play the game again. I would make that stand for you, because that would be 100% unacceptable that people have spent hours and hours and hours and hours grinding away to get an unlock that you could then just purchase Tour of Duty ranks. Now, I'm not saying they're going to do that, but the fact that wasn't even a straight flat out no was unbelievable to me. How can you even consider that? There's absolutely no way that should ever be a thing.
We have conversations with lots of orgs around around us adding people's content to the game. We have a few areas on which we kind of work with them on why we think, if we think they would be a good fit for content. Usually it has to do with, there's a few metrics I don't need to get into on the stream because it's more of a conversation for us to have with them. But I think for us, we would love to be in a circumstance where we had a bunch of orgs where we felt like putting skins in the game would be something that people would get excited about and would help build their profile and drive revenue for them and help support the program overall.
And in general, whenever we make content, weapon skins, everything, there's months of lead time as well.
Yeah,
right?
so yeah,
like
I mean, just as a bit of as a frame of reference, if we were to like pick an org, if FaZe were to come into Gears Esports, they were to pick up a team today, and they were like great, and they were once they they would have to design that skin. That skin then has to get submitted. We have to vet it. It has to then get recreated. It has to then get built in game. It then has to get QA'd, and then it has to go into a title update for it to then make it into to get actually put into the game.
Yeah.
And that process usually takes around 3 months.
That question kind of continues from the skin esports question. They basically said that if a new team comes in, it takes 3 months to get their skin in game. I feel like Dota, CSGO, League, they get like icons and world icons and stickers and gun holographic stickers and gloves and all kinds of stuff made for esports teams that just are thrown into the game seemingly like, oh, they qualified, boom, content goes in for a week. I can't think that they spend 3 months to make something. I can't believe that if FaZe entered into Gears of War today and they qualified, it would take 3 months until you can buy a FaZe skin in game and then the proceeds go towards them. That's just crazy. That's staggering, man. So it takes 6 months to make a map and it takes 3 months to put a gun in the game. So like, I don't know, like timescales just seem a bit confusing to me. Like, how can
Here, why do more players have health in a DBNO state in escalation and execution? There's
a higher damage mitigation.
Yeah.
So like because basically those modes used to
have execution rules,
rules. Well, now the way we handle execution rules in Gears 5 is you essentially, the further away you are, the more damage mitigation there is only on a DBNO. And the reason for that is to basically make ranged combat, finishing range down still be relevant in those modes.
they let people kill you from a distance because they still want ranged play and range downs to be a factor? Why? The whole point of execution rules is, yeah, you can get the down, and what that means is getting the down that puts you in a position from a sort of professional level of, right, I know where that player is, he can't move. We can now play around the fact that we have a stationary object and they can't move around that. And also it's probably going to gravitate one or maybe two teams towards that downed player, and that's going to allow us to make a play on the map. And even just from a casual perspective, playing Escalation, if you get somebody downed, you should be like, right, I have to go finish that down up close. So the player knows, right, I can crawl to my team and I'll crawl to him in this position because I like the player that's running across the map to kill me, he probably isn't going to want to run into three of my team. And then the player that is running thinks, do I want to risk it or should I just leave him down and then go capture something else? The fact that range downs are still a factor in execution just goes against, to me, what execution is. The whole reason you play an execution is you want to get up. Side note, the tapping of execution, like the ability to get up, the downtime's way too long. You never really actually get up in execution. It's just not a thing. I don't know if they played execution in Gears 1, but execution was at most 10-second bleed out, and that was like rapid tapping. You'd get up in like 5. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. About this audio.
Someone said, like, the last update didn't really do much for the Lancer. Will you guys be trying something else in the future?
Currently, we're feeling pretty good about it, right?
And a lot of the feedback we've gotten from from you guys was everyone feels pretty good about the Lancer.
To have nerfed the Lancer, watch my Lancer video. I didn't claim to get it nerfed. I joked about it. But, like, Lancers got nerfed, and I think they're okay, but I still think they're way too strong, because when you get one or two of those firing at you, like, you can't move, and it still is. Rifle play is so dominant in this game, especially at higher levels. Now it pretty much sounds like they're really happy with it and they're done, so not sure what else is going to change there, but let me know how you're feeling about the current state of the Lancer.
Price was, we heard your feedback and then we dropped the price. That wasn't an error, that was a conscious decision.
Exactly, yeah.
Now, I get your frustration around that, but that is, that's the difference of what happened in that case.
Yeah.
Do you guys prefer black steel or chrome steel?
Depends on the character for me.
Yeah. Ooh.
This is another chrome steel skin, black steel skin question. It's just all about, it's literally all about Tortu skin, blah blah blah. It's boring.
Depends on the character for me as well. I like chrome steel Foz quite a bit, and I like the was it the Scion that had like the red crystals on its back and like the black?
Yeah.
Like I like that one as the black steel.
That's it. Oh yeah. That's pretty good. Sorry, Marcus.
Jesse asks, what about white steel? You never know. I'm holding out for color blast steel for esports season.
I've seen, just from my perspective, because I'm a big multiplayer person, like it's been an hour, and honestly, I'm literally struggling for questions to show you that have any meaningful impact on the game. It's just everything has been answered with, we can't look at it or we can't speak about it because it's not in the game and we don't discuss future content. It's either been, we're passing it on to the team, which can mean they are passing it on to the team, but it also comes across as, we don't really care, we'll pass it on to the team. And also, there's been so many questions about frigging skins and black steel skins and just loads of little niggly questions that basically get the same response, which is, yeah, we are working on Tour of Duty 2. When Tour of Duty 2 is finished, the rest of the team will be put back on these other, basically smaller projects. And it just feels like I'm sat here for 54 minutes at the moment, and I'm just like, really? You haven't missed anything. Like, let me just tell you that you haven't missed anything major right now.
We can talk to design and go like, hey, we played this and we have these thoughts on it, and just help inform like the future of Gears. So, yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah. Diamond Visual, if you want to throw that back in the mixer.
Just to note, because I can't actually find the clip, it's somewhere ahead or behind, maybe I've missed it. He basically says that the movement speed is and the movement in the game is generally enjoyed, and they wanted it to be between Gears 2 and Gears 5. Like, that's the mixture. It's a mixture of Gears 2 and their own take, Gears 5. Those are the two movement systems they like, because he says in Gears 2 you have to be a lot more careful with your movement, and in Gears 5 it's a balance. Wasn't Gears 2 one of the most hated movement systems because of how much it strayed away from the classic Gears of War 1 style? That was a huge change, and Gears 5 is really not enjoyed. So they're balancing it off two games people really did not enjoy, from my perspective. Now, people will say, I loved Gears 2, but I'm just going to be honest, like, Gears 2 was horrendous compared to Gears 1. Personal opinion, but it's true. And they're also saying that there's an incredible sort of amount of care and passion gone into the team. Look, I don't doubt that, but sometimes like passion and care don't go far enough. You actually need people that are really well versed in multiplayer, especially like competitively. Now, I'm not going to slate these people because I don't know who's in the competitive playtest teams, and it has to have a variety of people, but the people that are playtesting these games, they can't understand Gears, I feel, on a fundamental level, because you can't play these games and be like, these feel so good. Like, they might, I'm not going to get into that, but like, that's really odd that they're saying that, well, people really love this movement. I don't hate it that much, but the amount of comments I read are always about, yo, Z, talk about the movement. Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people absolutely hate Gears 5 movement.
Oh, wait, hold on. Are you ever going to fix the slow movement? I know people are all over the forums complaining about it. Sorry, there's your question. I think the idea of the slow movement that's a design choice. So using the word fix is not accurate.
Again, they're picking up the comment of, oh, well, you used the wrong terminology. It's not a fix because it's not broken. It's actually a design choice. So what you mean is, can we change the design choice? Again, it doesn't matter what terminology he's using. It just means, doesn't it? It just means, I don't like the movement. Or are you looking into that? A lot of these are like very defensive answers, and they're just like, oh, well, you used the wrong terminology. It's not a bug fix because it's not broken. It's actually a design choice. Like, it like wears you down after hours and hours of listening to it at times. Like,
in this case scenario, fixing our server or fixing like our matchmaking, that's an issue. That requires a fix. In the case of the slow movement, that was a decision that we made on when this game was being built, as part of our trade-off of where we were. I think, we wanted to add a little bit more nuance, as the weapons got a little bit more powerful. Generally, these are pretty powerful weapons. We wanted to have a bit of a trade-off for people hitting the shots and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like this is a personal opinion, but I kind of feel like it's an in-between of 2 and like 4.
Yeah.
Where it's got like a good pace to it, but it's a little bit more deliberate in your movement.
Yeah.
That's not to say like, you know, there couldn't be improvements, but it's just meant to have a little bit more depth to it. And yeah, like we actually play tested at some point internally without the up A speed boost and everything. Like we tried a ton of different things.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So there, I knew I was right. He said we even tried one build where we removed the up A speed boost. Now, I've been saying the up A gives you a speed boost for the longest time, and people have been like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm pretty sure the up A in this game is absolutely broken, and I made it in my video that the up A in this game is just like crazy, man. Like, it feels like rather than take somebody head on, I'd rather do an up A on them. Like, it feels like the up A is just an insta-kill. There's definitely something going on there.
Oh, I'm going to drop, sorry, before I forget.
Ooh.
Also
Almost
coming potentially soon,
tell.
is the first, potentially soon as next week, again, pending testing, is a reduction in the Horde Scoreboard time.
Ooh, excellent.
For the Horde players, that's really good. Also, there's a lot of downtime in execution. Like the scoreboards, there's a lot of waiting around in this game. They had it with escape mode, like you had to rewatch the intro. I think they've fixed that now, but there's a lot of waiting around, and the Horde scoreboard is a big problem. But again, it feels like an age. I'm pretty sure like on day one of the game's launch, people were like, man, this scoreboard in Horde is way too long. Even me, who doesn't play much Horde, like I've probably played like 20 Horde full games in my lifetime, from Gears 2 all the way to like Gears 5. Even I was like, yeah, the scoreboard's way too long. And here we are, almost like 2020, and we're still like, hey, coming up in a week, we think after testing it might go in. It's kind of like, ooh, you know.
We already answered a lot of those questions. JB is the only, this one, someone's asked me, Liam, you're a Horde player, so I need your help on this one. JD is the only character in high-level Horde that can do anything. Will a buff be put on other characters, as I feel they are not up to par? Thank you.
So we have a buff coming for Fars, and in general, we're looking at Horde Balance all up. Based on the data, JD is not the only one performing at a high level, so you might want to try out some different card combinations. He's definitely very effective damage dealer, but that's kind of his role. Fars was the only one that, at least from a data standpoint and from our play experience here, was underperforming. There are obviously some better things, like Kate with her bleed ability is arguably the most potent character in Horde right now. So we're looking at it all up. So there may be stuff that comes to the other characters to buff them. There may also be some debuffs, but we're looking at Horde Balance as we can. The thing is that our team are also, you know, working on future stuff.
They want to work on improving certain characters so they work better at a higher level. Maybe different card combinations you need to try out. But this is kind of what happens, that when you start adding in so much content like Horde, Escape, there are inevitably going to be people that become hardcore fans of that thing you've added, and then they want it balanced, which makes sense. But what this also does is just take away effort from sort of developer time away from other aspects such as PvP multiplayer. And maybe I'm just very biased because I know Horde is unbelievably popular, and it's one of like the only sort of tower defense type games on Xbox, which is I think one of the reasons it is popular, because there are much better tower defense games out there. But on Xbox, like Gears is one of the main ones, and people love Horde. But to me, like, if you just get 5 mates, you can always complete Horde if you do it properly. It doesn't really matter really what you're using too much. Is the balance of Horde that crucial? Maybe it is to people, but to me it's not. And when I hear like a full hour and 10 with basically no information about multiplayer, I'm just kind of like, all right, maybe Lanny's performing too well, maybe Faz is performing not enough, you know, whatever it may be. But I'm kind of just sat here like, does the balance of the game in Horde and Escape matter that much? Maybe it does. Maybe I'm completely naive in that. But for me, I'm kind of like, where's the juice, where's the good stuff at? Because like, if they balance Horde perfectly, like, does that really improve the game that much?
This with Jamie, because I think I saw your question last week.
Yeah, he did.
There's basically, if not no, stopping power when hitting for someone from behind. However, if you hit someone from the side, it will impact you, just reduced. But I just need to check with Jamie on what the specific tuning is.
Yeah.
But the stopping power from behind, if it does exist, and I can't recall if it does, is much reduced to if you're getting hit from the front and somewhat reduced from if you get hit from the side. It's basically like
saying, why do we have stopping power like when people running away? And he's kind of like, well, it is reduced and from the side it is slightly weaker, but that's like kind of missing the point. I feel like there's that many tools in the game right now to stop aggressive pushes and like to keep people sort of in your sights. You know, you can flash them, stun them, keep them in your sights. You can get angles, you can mark them so they can always be hit. Chances are they're going to be clipped by some bullet that's going to slow them down. And I just don't feel like stopping power needs to be in the game. I think we've reached a point where rifles, marks, flashes, you know, insins to zone off certain areas. You've got all kinds of crazy tools now in the game to play as a team and as a unit. You also don't need to slow that person down. That's a question I asked, I think, on one of the developer streams. Ryan answered. He said it was a really good question. That's a very similar question, slightly different though. He wants to know specifically why they're running away. But again, I think the main issue is I think we've reached a point in the game where we don't need stopping power, but I bet you if you removed it, people would bitch.
Determine which skins will be sold, go into tour, and supply drops, and so on. Whew, that's a big question. In all three areas. Now that doesn't mean every time, because keeping in mind what's rewarding for one player is potentially not rewarding to someone else. So, you know, or if somebody wants a weapon skin, if you are a Liam, give me an iconic weapon skin from Gears 2.
Pretty funny. Hey Liam, give me an iconic weapon skin from Gears 2. Mate, there wasn't any. There was literally the gold gun that you got if you went to the midnight launch. Like, that just shows, doesn't it, man? Like, they don't know, man. The answer to the question is how do we determine whether it goes on the scrap or whether it goes on the daily reward or the weekly reward or the shop? The basic answer is if we think it's so bloody amazing that it'll make people buy money and that it'll make people spend money on the gun, it's going in the shop. That is it. That is the answer. They can't say that, but that is the answer.
That it appeals to the veteran players and the new players. There's a whole variety of that.
It's kind of like not going to respond there, but then he was like, we like to put the skins in the game that give a variety of ways to earn it and are respectful to the veterans of the game. Really? Like, I'm a pretty big veteran of the game. I haven't got a single skin. I've got one white skin from the Tour of Duty. I had to spend 2,400 scrap for a gold gun that frankly doesn't look that great, and that's all the scrap I've ever earned from Gears. And that's it. I haven't really got any from a drop or anything useful. It's just like, it's all in the shop. Like, how is that respectful?
Maybe more discussion on the level of transparency in the future.
I think, chaps, one thing I'll say is if you go look at any modern studio, that is incredibly rare, is to like preemptively do that sort of stuff. And there's a good reason for that. There's a number of reasons. But in general, it's very rare in these sorts of scenarios. So I'm not saying it can't be done, and I'm not saying it's a bad idea necessarily. I'm just saying that it's just a method of feedback that, to your point, in terms of design by committee, there's a lot of information available to us. You know, we're experts in community, right? So it's our job to look at what you're saying and look at the community in all its facets, not just Twitter, not just Reddit, not just Discord, but also Facebook comments, also places like Reset Error, like all the different avenues people talk to us on.
Yeah.
And then we have data, and then we have like what the goals for the game are. We have also engagement as well. Like,
you want Anya more than Alicia. If Alicia was already in plan for the next one, we can't go and change it on the fly that quickly in terms of in-game content, because that stuff takes months and months and months to do. But what you guys aren't seeing necessarily is us going back and saying, hey, we're hearing all people want is Anya, and now maybe she gets moved up to a higher priority inside of a inside of a future tour. So the feedback is going in there. I think some of the changes that you are looking for from a content standpoint, those are a lot harder to happen on a real nimble basis. And I think, right now in terms of design stuff, we're focusing a lot of our work on ranked, and matchmaking in that. And then once we move through those issues, then we can have more of a conversation about smaller tweaks, design tweaks to the game. I hope that answers what you guys are talking about.
Did that super long answer about content creation is, I think that sums up really how the game is made. They don't really want the game to be designed by community and by committee. They want the game to be designed by stats and figures. And stats and figures do tell you a lot, but what stats and figures don't do is stats and figures don't give you good PR. What I mean by that is, let's say everybody wants to remove aim assist, and they're saying that, okay, we've taken that feedback on board, we're going to move that up from, say, title update 4, and we're going to push that to title update 3. But for that whole duration of time whilst we're waiting for that change that got pushed up the board, the whole time that's going on, everybody is bitching. What the company needs to do is give themselves some good PR by doing things that the community wants that might not be currently in the pipeline. For example, they said, oh, if everybody wants Anya, but we're not making her, and someone else has already been made, we can't just scrap that other one and then start making Anya and put her in. Anya just gets moved up the pipeline. Of course, that makes complete sense, but I'm just saying from a community standpoint, that just doesn't help you. It gives you such bad PR. People are, oh, another character we didn't ask for. Who gives a shit? Where's Anya? Or whatever it may be. And that's why the game's dying, because there's so little public good feedback. Like, for example, you know, if you just want to look at my channel, which really is not a representation of the industry or of the game itself, but when you look at my 2 videos, positive video talking about Gears 5 montages, how fun the community is, giving away free clips to editors, no views. Positive things I enjoy about Gears 5, no views. Now when I get mad, 11k views, because ultimately people just see these long-winded answers and they're just like, you've missed the point. Chaps, I think what Chaps was trying to say was not how does the pipeline system work, because I think we do know that if you think about it logically. I think what Chaps was trying to say was, how can we possibly be giving feedback when we don't know what's going on? He responded with, well, we're taking it all on board and we're making those changes, so you have been included in the process. But I think what he's trying to get at is, let's say they've taken our feedback on board and they've changed it, so I'm making this up. Okay, every medal is earnable inside of escape mode. Well, how about you get our feedback on that before you then cement it in place? Because then you can change it. Right? Because what's happening is, what they just admitted to is, when it is cemented in place, that's when they can talk about it. And the reason they can talk about it finally is because it can't be changed, because it's locked in place. So this is a really important point of why Gears 5 is currently in the state it's in, is because we have basically, they listen to the community and they put their feedback to the team. The team then chooses whether to move something up the pipeline, keep it where it is, etc, etc. And then when something is finally set in stone, they then can go on this developer blog and go, hi, I'm really pleased to tell you that in title update 4, we have done this. And then if the community goes, but wait, we hate that idea, we really don't like that idea, they then will say, well, it's too set in stone, we'll look forward to changing it in a future update. So we're going to always be in this never-ending cycle of TC decide what happens with the game, and then we give feedback, and then they say it's too late to change because it's already been set in stone. So the only way they're going to land an update that we enjoy is basically sort of, they somehow guesstimate / take on board our feedback so perfectly that when the update comes out, we go, brilliant, everything's fixed, and there are no changes. Because currently, if we do have an idea on a change, let's say for example they do end up, they've been talking about the Omen, right? They've been talking about the Omen a lot, and they end up saying, right, we've passed that information on to the team, and then eventually it comes out and they say, right, we're finally clear and we're finally okay to talk about the Omen. This is what it's going to be. It's going to be a slider, it's going to be this and that, and then after all that we go, oh, that's not what we wanted at all, that's awful. They will then go, well, it's set in stone. We can't move it. We'll take your feedback on board and we'll move that feedback up the pipeline. So that's why I've included this really long answer, because it's so difficult to actually get anything correct in Gears 5, because basically we aren't consulted before it's done, because they don't want to reveal information before it's set in stone, because then it could change. So they don't want to go, oh yeah, we're going to fix the Omen, and then their company goes, yeah, we can't do that. Why have you told the fans you're going to change it when we can't? So it's just this like headbutting system of like trying to move stuff in the pipeline, trying to squeeze the community feedback in there, and it's just like kind of a mess to me. That's the way it comes across. Hopefully that was interesting to you. It's been about 5 hours plus of watching, editing and uploading. Hopefully you enjoyed that. If you did, thumbs up for the work I'm trying to put into the community. If you want to go one step further, you can contribute to the support goal that we've set. That helps me continue to make content and put like this amount of time into the videos. As always, yeah, one comment, one like, everyone knows the rules. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I know there wasn't too much content in there, but this is a video I can't control. I'm just trying to cut out some of the nonsense to you, so you don't have to watch an hour and a half and 2 hours plus video. I'll try timestamp stuff because I think the timestamps helped. As always, if you're waiting for my next video and you're a little bit bored, some videos that didn't really get much traction, which I think are pretty fun, is a 100 elimination commentary. I've made a montage, and if you're a video editor and you're interested in getting some clips to use because you want to practice editing, I uploaded onto my Google Drive. It's like basically this is like a preview. It's 35 minutes of clean 1080p clips that you can use. Feel free to use them. Thought I'd give something back to the community there. And yeah, let's try get my latest positivity video up with some thumbs and some comments, because this video here is private. I didn't want to make the drama public, and I'm trying to be like responsible and not try and mix drama with content. So let's try and at least get the positivity video more views than drama, because we don't want to be spending time on people and drama. We want to move past that. So if you've enjoyed the video, thumbs up. As always, I'll try to keep you up to date with all the Gears news. Thanks for watching. Cheers.